Greetings and salutations, honorable judges, teachers who teach us this glorious Orthodox faith, and fellow speakers, good morning. Today I'll be speaking to you about topic number 1. Martyrs of the Church and some early monastics are both described as athletes. What does it mean to be an athlete for Christ? My heart is pumping with excitement. The whistle blows, balls hike, and the play starts. I look into my opponent's eye to read the play, filling my gap, clogging the hole, and eventually tackling the running back. Learning what to do in a sport like football takes time and dedication to practice for games. You have to eat healthy, train, and listen to your coach. Being an athlete is a lot like being an athlete for Christ. What is the definition of an athlete? The Webster's definition of an athlete states that an athlete is a person who is trained or skilled and exercises sports or games requiring physical strength, agility, or stamina. The goal of an athlete is to win the game. So therefore, how can we define an athlete of Christ? I would define an athlete of Christ as a person who trains their mind, body, and soul to be more like Christ. Like an athlete in a sport, an athlete of Christ requires strength and stamina from Christ to fight the battle against sin and keep our faith. In the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verses 1 and 2, St. Paul states, "Let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance and the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith." Ultimately, the goal of an athlete of Christ is salvation, being with God in the kingdom of heaven. So, how do we prepare for our final goal? When you practice for sports, you have to condition and train your body so that you will be strong enough to play your sport without injuring yourself. You also have to eat healthy and be fit. Practicing to be an athlete of Christ is very similar. You have to study the Bible and the lives of the saints, pray, go to church, and participate in the sacraments. You show your commitment to God by fasting from meat, dairy during fasting periods. In sports, you have to dedicate a lot of time to practice to improve. When you become an athlete of Christ, you have to dedicate a lot of time and prayer to helping others and enriching your faith. In sports, we learn the plays and review game film to improve on all of our mistakes. When you are an athlete of Christ, you have to look toward the saints to see what they did so you can become a better Orthodox Christian. Finally, in sports, you have to listen to your coach and do what you are told. When you are an athlete of Christ, you have to listen to God, which is our head coach, and follow His commandments. As an athlete, our final goal is to win the game and receive the trophy. As an athlete of Christ, our final goal is to be more like Christ, so we can be heavenly and receive Him. In the second book of Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, St. Paul says, "I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept my faith. Finally, there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give me on that day." Although being an athlete is a big commitment and is important to us, the most important commitment in our lives should be the commitment to our faith in Christ. Thank you and have a blessed day.